Hello, I'm Professor Webster and I am the Programme Manager for the Master's portfolio, which is called Contemporary Dialogues. And our portfolio programme enables students to study on their medium-specific pathways, but also to have the opportunity of meeting students from other pathways and also having the influence and inspiration from a broad range of staff. I'm actually doing this recording from my studio because I'm a practicing artist. I've been a painter for nearly 30 years now, and I've got an established exhibition record, and I've also done a practice-based PhD, so I'm bringing that expertise and my knowledge base to the master's portfolio. All of the pathway leaders who are there to direct you on your chosen field of study have similar experiences, so they're either practicing artists or they have done research in the areas and are experts in their field. So if you're studying glass or automotive design, if you're studying graphics, illustration, fine art, sound, all of those disciplines all have a pathway leader who is an expert within the field that you will be studying. So I just mentioned a few of those master's programs which are part of this portfolio, and I'll run through them now with you just so that you have a flavour of what you might come and encounter as part of the MA. So we have an MA in advertising, we have an MA in fine art, an MA in photography, an MA in moving image, we have an MA in sound, we also have an MA in graphic design, we have an MA in illustration, we have an MA in visual communication, an MA in glass, an MA in surface pattern design, an MA in textiles, an MA in product design, an MSc in industrial design, and an MA in transportation design. So we have all of those different voices which come together under the umbrella of the dialogue of the master's portfolio that we are providing for you at Swansea College of Art. As you will know, Swansea College of Art itself has a long history going back to the 19th century, and we're really excited to be building on that into the futures of artists and designers in Wales and beyond. So, if you'd like to come and study with us, we'd be very interested in having a conversation with you, reviewing your portfolio and answering any questions that you might have about the programme. To give you a brief overview of the programme, it's designed to stimulate ideas, to deepen knowledge, and to give you the opportunities of trying some things out that you perhaps haven't had the opportunity to do on your undergraduate programme, to enrich your knowledge bases and also to support you in your individual creative practices. So, for example, the MA is divided into two kind of parts. Part one is very taught, and part two is your own individual project where you are guiding that work predominantly with the support of the teaching team. So in part one we have 3 20-credit modules and 1 60-credit module, and the 3 20-credit modules take you through the first stages of the programme. So the first thing that you will do is something called the thought experiment, and that's really to jumpstart your programme of study. Gives you an opportunity to meet the staff within your own area, but within the university teaching team for the master's portfolio, and also gives you the opportunity of doing something kind of new and innovative within your own practice. So drawing on your strengths that you're bringing into the programme, be that from a professional background or from an undergraduate programme, bringing that in and using your knowledge and strengths to try something new. It's a very short module. It takes 6 weeks from beginning to end. It's 20 credits, and we give you a little section of philosophy on the everyday life, which becomes the stimulus for your own creative practice. So whether that's in design or in applied art, or whether that's in photography or moving image or sound or fine art, everybody gets a different idea and they all respond to that. And at the end of it, we present those ideas to the staff and students, and that gives you that opportunity to see how other people have responded, how other people have made work based on that. You also do a module which is in theoretical ideas. So it's called Coexistent Perspectives, and as you can hear from that title, the idea is that it brings in perspectives from different areas. So all of the tutors who teach into the programme have the opportunity to do a lecture on that programme, but there's also a core body of lectures which look at philosophical ideas that impact across your discipline specific areas. So something like the post-human or the post-digital or even the postmodern, they're all things that have an impact on how we live our lives in this contemporary moment. So you take that information and you apply it yourself to your practice, but you also write an essay on that, which you hand in before Christmas if you're full-time, or before or after Easter, if you're part-time. So that gives you an idea of that. And the idea behind this theoretical component is not that it stands alone as something that's separate from everything else you do, but it's informing your creative practice. So you choose a subject, a topic that's part of our portfolio of topics that we're offering as part of that module. You choose something that you feel was going to help you understand more your own practice, and you will use that information and deepen that information and knowledge as you go through the programme. And the third module, which we block teach, and if you're full-time it's going to be taught over 3 weeks, and if you're part-time we teach it over 6 weeks, and that's after Christmas, and that's a collaborative module, and that gives you the opportunity of working directly with somebody that you might have met on the programme, or with a group of people that are new to you who have different ideas, so that those different ideas stimulate your own practice, or might even form a lasting collaboration which you wish to develop as you go through the programme. And then the idea with that is as well, so if you imagine that you're looking at a village from a hill, you have your medium specific view of that village, so you're looking down a bit from this point of view, but somebody who is working, let's say, in product design may be looking at the same village, but because they're coming from a different perspective, they're looking at it from over there, so they'll see the same village from a different perspective. So what that should do is give you insights into the subject from all of these different perspectives, which will actually enable you to think differently yourself within your own practice. So it's learning from each other, learning from your fellow students as well as from the teaching staff. And obviously it gives you the opportunity as well to get to know people a bit better on the programme. Then you have a 60 credit module, which is a big module, and that's completely kind of exploratory. It's about developing your practice. We offer workshops, so practical workshops like glass, or workshops in surface pattern, theoretical workshops. I did one on painting. We do sound workshops, but also there's opportunities to do technical workshops like learn about InDesign, Photoshop, and those kinds of things. So you might feel that, your practice needs or would benefit from learning a new skill, or having an opportunity to try an idea in a different medium. So if you've not worked in the photographic darkroom, maybe using light directly in your practice, maybe if you were a glass practitioner, would give you a different insight into light. So you're using the same material, but through a different process. So again, we don't tell you what to do, we offer you a menu of things that you might like to do, and then you need to think about which things would enable you to develop the sort of work that you want to develop. And while you're doing that, you should also be thinking about the theoretical questions, the conceptual components of the work. Why are you making that work? What does it respond to? How does it connect into the world? And that's your part one, and you have to complete that before you progress into part two. And in fact, you could leave the programme at that point and you would go with a postgraduate diploma after part one. You normally then would progress into part two, where you do your what we call a major project, and the module is called Confirmative Practice. And again, from the title, you can understand a little bit about that. It's basically the consolidation of the work that you've done in the modules in part one. So you take your ideas that you've been experimenting with in a broad sense, and you consolidate them down towards producing something that you would like to present in a public domain. So that could be through an exhibition or a showcase, through a book, through a website. It depends on how you want to disseminate that, but the idea is it's of a quality that you want to take out into the world. And that's basically the programme. It's quite short, it's 180 credits in total, and the full-time programme starts in September and ends in January, but not the 1st January, the 2nd January. So if you begin this year, so if you start September 2020, you would finish January 2022. And if you're doing it part-time, it's 3 years. So those are the two options that we have on that programme.